Safety first. Oh no! No! Oh no! Oh no! Oh Jesus! Okay, so we got it all done. Check out the cylinder. All right, that's the intake. All I did was remove enough material in order to get a cat's tongue feel to it. It is a lot smoother than what it looks like in the video, but whatever, it doesn't matter. I did end up having to take a little bit out of the bottom of the intake. Very little though. So we are at, on the intake side, 83 degrees. 83 degrees is when that intake opens. Let's take a look at the transfers here. All I did was cut that side down. I didn't go all the way flush, you can see. But I did round them over so that we have smooth flow into the transfers. Okay, all these edges are nicely beveled up so we don't scar up the piston when we're putting it together, and it's easier for the rings to get in there. So yeah, didn't do anything to the upper transfers. I left them exactly the way that they are from the factory. I did nothing. The exhaust, polished it up. You know my feelings on exhaust and polishing. This is down to 220 grit, and it's nice and smooth, but it's nothing spectacular. There is no mirror finish on this whatsoever. I did have to take a little bit off the top of that as well, and it's at 101.5 on the exhaust roof. So we got 101.5, we've got 83, and the transfers come on at 122.7. Which gives us, so with those transfers like that, it gives us almost a perfect 40 degrees of time for the piston to go down and compress the charge that is in your crankcase, is in the crankcase, okay, before the transfers open. So we have 39.7 degrees before the transfers open and release that pressure to the upper cylinder. So that's about as perfect as one can get it. I'm very happy with that. My squish is perfect as well. 20 thousandths. Boom. Nailed it. Very happy with that. I'm very happy with the exhaust opening time. 101.5. This has a long stroke. I mean, not super long, but it's a 36 millimeter stroke. And so I could get away with a much higher exhaust. You know, I could get away with it. But for right now, I want to try it the way that it is, and I probably will leave it there. I have experience with a 372 that has 100 on the exhaust roof, and guess what it had? Plenty of RPMs. So now the muffler mod, let's check it out. So all I did, it's an empty can. This old thing's beat to piss, isn't it? But all I did was drill a hole there and put a 3/4 inch EMT and brazed it up. My brazing is getting a little bit better. It's still pretty shoddy, but you know, who cares? I thought about just drilling a hole and letting it all the exhaust out, because this is going to be for a race saw, right? But at least for now, I'm going to go with this because I like the way they perform when actually using the saw. If you go like this and go right open, you're immediately dedicating to that you're only going to race that saw. You know what I mean? With this right here, you can still theoretically work it. So yeah, what is left to do? Well, I got to put it back together, and I'll probably, I don't know if I'll jump right in and do a timing advance or not. I haven't decided on that. But we'll get to that. For now, it's time for me to put it together. Okie dokie. Artichoke. So, well, I'll wait on that. We got it all built. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do one cut just to mess around and see where it's pulling the RPMs at, you know, what RPMs it's pulling. I think I got it tuned pretty all right. All I've done is a couple little heat cycles, and let's see how she goes. Okay, so I'm going to go right ahead and just jump right straight to the test cut because I just forgot to put new crank seals in it, and you can see, you know, it's picking up and down in RPMs. So I don't want to sit here and test and tune on it a whole bunch, but it should be fine for just one cut. So whatever we get here, it's going to get better because all it's had is a couple startups, so it needs to break in, and it clearly still has a bit of an air leak. So, but I think it'll be fine. But what I was seeing there was it was pulling 12,000 in the cut, but I didn't get really down in there. So let's just give it a shot. So, not a whole lot you can tell from one cut, but there's kind of a whole hell of a lot that you can tell by just one cut. I can't remember what it did it before, but it felt like it did it in about 6 seconds right there. Holy jeez. Okay. I love being me. Yes. You know what I love even more? Is getting twice the results by doing less work. Half the work. I didn't touch the uppers. I did not touch them. The only thing that I did to the lowers was round them off a little bit so that we had a smooth transfer of the fuel going up. All of the port timing on this almost exclusively was set by me, using, I misspoke in the previous video, it's not a 266 XP piston, it is a Johnson 630 piston, all right? I used that piston and then I cut the base in order to get the squish where I wanted it. I did not cut the combustion chamber, I did not hog out anything. The only thing that I did as far as port timing goes is I took 2 degrees off of the, it wasn't even 2, it's like 1.5, but we'll say 2 degrees off of the floor of the intake, and probably 2 degrees off of the roof of the exhaust. So my numbers are, the exhaust is opening at 101.5. So what is that real quick? That's 203. So we got 157 degrees of exhaust duration. I believe my number's right on that. On the intake we're at 83 degrees, which gives us 166 degrees of intake duration. And the transfers, my blowdown is, I think it was like 21 degrees or 23 degrees, something like that. But the important thing to me with this build was getting my time of the piston's downstroke, right, where it is compressing the fuel in the crankcase. I wanted it exactly 40 degrees of duration before the transfers opened up. And I was able to get that. Obviously, I'm extremely happy with everything. The muffler mod was stupid simple. Just drilled a hole, put a little 3/4 inch piece of EMT conduit in there, brazed it up, and singing. Now, what's left to do, I didn't do any timing, right? So definitely this thing will, I'm certain, do well with a little bit of timing advance. I don't know how much. I asked Grant and he's like, start off slow, 3 to 4, and you know, we'll do that. But yeah, God, I got to run it again. I got to. It feels great. This time I'm going to lay on it. See how much torque it's got. With a 101.5 on the exhaust, it should have plenty of torque. Yeah, we probably got a PTO side. For those who don't know, this is called the PTO side, right? You can call it the chain side or the clutch side. That's fine, perfectly fine. But this is the PTO side. PTOs aren't just for tractors. But yeah, anytime, that's your power takeoff right there. You call it a PTO side because chains are not the only thing that a chainsaw will run, right? You can have a chainsaw set up as a cutoff saw, and then there's no chain. So what are you gonna call it? I guess some of them had a belt side. I guess all of them probably have a belt. So you can call it the belt side. You can still call it the clutch side. You could set this up to run an auger, or even just simply a drill that goes straight out and you drill into trees. It's the PTO side, but whatever, that's all pointless, it doesn't matter. But I bet you it's got a leak on that seal right there, and that's why it's intermittent. If it was over here on this side, my guess is it would not be so intermittent, because as this chain moves any at all, like there could be a chunk of sawdust that goes in and gets into that sprocket, which creates a little tighter chain. And in that moment right there, you have it develops an air leak at your crank seal on this side. Most of the time when your crank seals go bad, it's all, 80% of the time it's on this side right here. But I've got to do the timing advance anyways, so I will go ahead and replace both of them at the same time. But for right now, I am skipping happy. The 365 is running stellar. Is it running as good as, I don't know, anything else? Who knows? I don't know. That's whenever you show up to a race and here's your ass. Get it handed right to you. But I'm fine with that. I got too much confidence as it is. I can be dialed down a few notches and still be a normal person. Hope you liked it, guys.